This is a place.
This is the place?
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Welcome to this week's episode of This is a Place podcast. My name is Nate, and with me is a guy who's so excited for spring that he just might wet his plants. Brandon.
It's very bold of you to assume that I can keep plants living.
It's true. Or that you even have plants to begin with, right?
My wife has plants, but ask me how many times I've dropped or forgot to water them.
But you are so excited for spring, you might just do it.
Yeah, I might. For that reason.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited that the weather, well, I feel like the weather keeps teasing us, right? Like it's warm for 2-3 days and you're like, yes. And then all of a sudden it is freezing cold. Like last week was just miserable going to and from the car. Just too cold. I'm over the snow, even though we don't really have any this year. I'm over the cold weather. I'm ready to move to the south. Just pack up my van that I don't have and just drive until nobody knows what a snowblower is, and then I'll just stay.
I think
set up
we're
camp.
going to have to move our podcast to Georgia or Texas, somewhere else.
Somewhere. I'm just over. I have no need for the cold weather, even though I do play hockey, but there's still, you can have hockey rinks where it's warm. You don't need, we won't get to do our pond hockey like we talked about.
Probably not going to fulfill our curling dreams.
Our ice fishing dreams, but we can always come back and visit once a winter to do those items.
Yeah, I'm down
so
for that.
This is officially an announcement that we are shutting down This is a Place podcast. I don't know what the model is for Georgia or whatever we're moving to be determined.
Today is a really nice day, though.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, I played pickleball with the group. I think we even started at 10 o'clock in the morning outside, and I thought it'd be a little colder than it really was. It was great. It was just nice to be outside, just excited to get some vitamin D naturally.
As it gets warmer, it leads to more fun things that we can do. Things we can do for the podcast. Things we can do, with our wives. Maybe we can go on outside dates with our wives.
Well, one thing I miss is my wife and I like to go on walks at night, and it's been too cold and it gets dark early, but daylight savings is just a few days away, a week and a half once this comes out, and it's starting to warm up and we can do all those fun activities.
And your anniversary's coming up too, isn't it?
My anniversary is in a few short days. Yeah. And I was talking to you the other day saying, what are some good ideas, out of the box thinking, fun date night activities or something you do that's outside of the typical going to a movie or or dinner. That seems to be the routine that my wife and I do. It's usually a movie and dinner, which is great. I do like the easiness of it and just the part of just relaxing and hanging out with my wife. But I'm sure there's more things you can do outside of outside of a movie and dinner.
Right. Yeah. Which is why you asked me. You came to me, the all-knowing guru.
Young, fun, exciting guy couple that you guys are.
Right. And my response was, Nate, I have no idea. But I do have somebody that does know. And they are called the Average Daters. And we got to talk with them for the episode today to give us their tips and ideas for how you can have an out-of-the-box anniversary. We can just all have better dates with our significant others. Okay, so today we are joined by Colin and McCall. They are known as the Average Daters on Instagram and I say Instagram, but probably other places too. I'm sure other social media, right?
Primarily Instagram, but we are on other platforms, but the main place is Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where everything happens, right?
Yes.
Well, tell us, how did you start this Instagram page and really everything you guys have been up to with it?
Yeah, it was actually Colin's idea. We have always placed a pretty big emphasis on dating, fun dates, unique dates, doing things out of the box. We did that from the beginning of our relationship. And I mean, it got to the point where people were often asking us for ideas. You know, friends and family would call us up and ask. And neighbors were asking, you know, what their kids should do for their day dates for prom and stuff like that, you know, just to give them different ideas. And so one day Colin came home from work and said, I know what blog we should start. And that was way outside, you know, I didn't know how to start a blog. I didn't know how to do anything like that. I still don't do very well with the blog. We do have a blog. But it's definitely a work in progress. And anyway, and so he said we should start a dating blog. And it just made sense. We were already doing it, you know, privately, sharing all these things with people. And we decided to just start sharing it publicly. And so we spent 1 week coming up with, you know, the name, kind of what we were going to do. We bought the domain, and a week later we were starting things. So anything to add to that?
No, we always talked about like, what can we start? What can we do? And yeah, one day it just hit me, I should dating. It like just was like, that's the one. And so I said it to her and she was just like, yep, that's the one. And so we just ran with it. We started out a few years ago and we're not really serious about it. And we post like
once a week,
if that.
And it was like a picture of the logo of the company. Like it was very, it was not good. It was not good.
Not as many bells and whistles.
Yeah.
So we did that for like 6 months, and then the new year hit and McCall was like, I want to take this seriously. And I'm like, well, I can't take it super seriously. So you're going to have to run things. And she started at like 300 followers 1 year. And by the end of the year, we had like 4,000 or something like that in her first year of being serious about it. And then she sold a coupon book and did those kinds of things. And it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And we've just been doing it ever since.
We're just making stuff up, you know, as we go. We're just winging it as we go along with this, but it's awesome.
Well, can you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves, like where you're from, how long you two have been together, and anything else that we should know about you?
I'm born and raised up in Heber City, Utah, on the other side of the mountains from where we live now. And
I'm from Sandy, Utah, and that's where we're currently living. So
that's where I'm from. So good place.
Okay. Yeah.
We live on the same street that McCall grew up on.
Yep. We live on the street of my childhood home. So it's really fun.
Yep. And we met at the University of Utah at the Institute up there through some mutual friends, and found out we were in the same ward, and we dated for about a year before we got married, and I've been married for almost 4.5 years.
Yep.
And we've got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and yeah, we just are trying to live the American dream, and our friends call us dreamers, and we try to do more than we probably should, but
we put too much on our plate all the time.
But there's no other way to live life. Like, might as well live it to its fullest is kind of our mantra. And like, what else would we do? And rather than do nothing, we might as well just do as much as we can.
Go big or go home.
Yep.
Better busy than bored is what I
say.
Yes.
So true.
Well, I'm interested in, you dated for about a year. At what point did you two both realize you didn't want to have a average courtship? You wanted to have more fun.
I mean, I would say that we realized that pretty early in our relationship. I mean, we had both dated quite a bit before we met. And by the time we met, I mean, probably, I don't know, a week in or something, I said to Colin, I'm not playing games. I'm just over it. I'm just done with this whole thing. I can't do it anymore. I'm tired of it. Like, I can't keep going on first dates. I can't, like, I'm just not doing it. And I need this to be different. You know, I want something different.
I'm going to throw her under the bus though. But then for the next month, she was going out with other dudes.
I was.
And I was not going out with other
You
people.
weren't going out with other dudes.
He never went out with
And
someone else again after our first date.
She's like going out. Oh, I don't want to do this again. And she's like I'm like asking her a date out on dates like a week in advance because she's like, oh, I've got plans that night. Oh, some date with another dude. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then after their date, she'd give me a call up and be like, hey, how are you doing? So
Well,
she played the games.
She gave you that
Well,
spiel,
no,
but she
I
gave
didn't-
it to 5 other guys too.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was taking things seriously. So I just continued to live my life. And when I finally realized he was committed, that was it. And so, I mean, we did all sorts of really fun things while we were dating. We really went outside the box and did a lot. And so it really, I mean, it was part of our relationship pretty much the entire time. Like, one of our first dates was snowshoeing. We met over Christmas break. So it was snowshoeing, snowboarding, like just not your
We did.
typical early on dates. You know, we were doing some
Right.
bigger things like that, comedy clubs.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I mean, our first date, McCall asked me on our first official date.
I sure did.
And we went and
We went to Taco Bell.
we went to Taco
Just-
Bell, and then we like drove up through like the avenues in Salt Lake and parked the car with a big view, and we're like listening to music and like picking songs from like our childhood that we loved and like telling each other the background of like the music that we like and that kind of thing, which is not your typical go get ice cream and sit and talk or mini golf or bowling. And those were like the dates that everyone does. And it was fun to do something different than that on like our first date.
just connect over some music and get to know each other that way. So
And now, I mean, you call yourself the average daters, but I look at your guys' Instagram and it's anything but average. You guys do a lot of fun stuff. So what have been some of your favorite things that you've done?
So our slogan is, we're just two average people sharing some above average dates.
Oh, there you go. I
So
should have
we're
read the
just
tag.
your
Sorry.
typical
Yeah.
schmojos, but they are, as you said, they are really fun dates that we share. One of my very, very, very favorite dates still to this day was at Just Add Chocolate, which is there's a location in Lehi, Utah and Provo, Utah. And it's a chocolate workshop that you get to go, and they have a date night special. It's, you know, they specifically do it for date night, and you go and you learn a little bit about these chocolates, and then you get to make truffles and, you know, dip all these different treats in chocolate and do this and that. And that was the date that pushed us to really starting the Average Daters. It was like, man, people just don't know about these places. There's so many cool date places out there and people don't know about it. And we need to help these companies get the word out. And so it was after our Just Add Chocolate date that we were like, yeah, we have to share this with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of my very, very, very favorite dates we've been on.
Yeah. I mean, another one we found was Labyrinth reality games.
Mhm.
They're like connected to Airborne's, and it's like miniature escape rooms that people just like, everyone we shared it with for like the first year, no one had even heard of it. And we were like, this is awesome. Like, you could go 10, 20, 30 times and still find new things to enjoy there, versus like just going out to dinner or going mini golfing for the 7th time or whatever it is. No, I'm not bagging on mini golf.
People are
But-
giving me some crap because I just posted something negative about mini golf on Instagram. And it's not, the problem is not mini golf. It's that everybody goes mini golfing for first dates. And so people are getting fired up about this mini golf thing. That's where that's coming from. But it's just different, right?
Yeah, way different. There's nothing like it. I mean, we've done virtual reality route, like there's VR places that are just like these hole in the walls that have perfect setups for 2 to 4 people to go and do VR together. And you like watch each other and you make fun of each other doing these dumb things, riding a roller coaster or standing on a cliff. And you're like looking at them acting like a fool. And it's hilarious that people just don't do that as much as they could. And it's
just always mini golf.
Yeah.
It's just always mini golf and bowling.
Bowling, yeah, I was gonna say, and bowling. Beat you to it.
And bowling, which is not a good date if there's only 2 people. Bowling's awful. You like never sitting next to each other. You're
It's true, huh? Yeah, it's very true.
don't do it
horrible
with
first
2
date.
people.
Better group date, but even then it's back and forth, back and forth.
Yep,
Mhm.
exactly. We actually just went on a way fun date last week. It's called Mystique Dining, and it's at Gardner Village. And so you get a 5-course meal followed by a close-up magic show. And it was so fun. They actually have 2 facilities, sister companies at Gardner Village. So one is Mystique Dining and the other is called the Prestige. And the Prestige is not a 5-course meal. It's just like kind of a regular dinner. And then the magic show, the magician's up like on a platform. So it's not close-up magic. It's a more like chill, relaxed environment, and it is less expensive. So we've done both of those now. And again, it's unique. And we actually were talking to the magician after the show last week. And he said, this venue here is awesome. You know, he said, like, out of all the places I go, this is such a unique venue that he gets to come to. And he's come a few times to perform here. And so that was really cool. So it's just a unique, different, fun date that's not your norm.
It is a little bit pricier, but totally
Yeah.
worth it because you're getting your dinner, which was pretty darn good. Like it's no top tier restaurant, but it's a good meal. Like you're
Yeah.
not going to be disappointed, and you're getting a professional magic show for like less than the price of you could go somewhere to buy a magic show. And so it is a little bit more expensive, but it's a good one.
It sounds repeatable because if they switch out magicians and entertainers, you get it something new every time.
Every
Yes.
2 weeks there's a new magician, and so I'm a big magic fan, and so I was the one that was like, hey, we need to go see some magic shows. We also just did dinner crafts recently. You go and do, we did a group date and we all went and we prepped freezer meals. Sounds really stupid.
Like
But
all
it's-
the husbands, everyone that we invited, all the husbands were like, seriously, we're going to prep freezer meals
Yeah.
for a date?
But the way they have it set up, like you don't have to worry about anything. You just show up. They tell you, they have like foolproof way, prep this meal. You get to like spend time with a group. Some of the people there were like, I'm racing to get it done faster, and others were making fun of each other because they messed up these like really simple. It's like,
Very simple
here's
instructions.
your onion. Peel the onion, split it into 2 bags, and people would not do it correctly, so we'd make fun of each other for that, like the dumbest things possible. And we just having fun people around you, and then on top of it, we got a bunch of freezer meals to
That are
take
good
home.
quality. Like we're all loving these meals, and all the couples have already said, if you guys go again, make sure you invite us. Like we'd go again. So all of us walked out of it saying, oh, that actually was a really fun date. It wasn't just a useful one. It was super fun.
And it's just a great environment to chat with people, and our friends. Not everybody knew each other that we invited, and the people right behind us, you have like your own stations and everything, and the people right behind us really hit it off, and they were chatting the whole time. We'd jump in their conversations, and they're like, they were so cool, it was so fun. And as a date, like that's the kind of environment that we want to create where you can like actually get to know each other and talk to each other and be like, they're a fun person. And it's not just doing something, but getting to know each other. What about you guys? What do you guys like to do on your dates?
What do we do on our dates?
On our dates or with our wives?
Both.
I'm a bad dater. We don't go out a whole lot. I've got 2 kids. We have a 1-month-old.
Oh, fresh.
No leaving the house for a while,
Yeah.
but we like to just go on drives. We're pretty lame. But
No, drives are not lame. You can have so much fun on a drive.
yeah, not the drives that are lame. It's just that it's usually the only thing we do. Maybe get some
Yeah.
dinner and go on a drive, but what about you?
My wife loves. I wasn't a big movie guy, probably for the same reason you guys have. Is when you're going on dates and going to movies, you're like, you watch the movie, you don't get to talk.
Right.
But my wife's really into movies, so we go to movies a lot.
Every night.
Almost every night. No, just kidding. We have a movie pass. We can go unlimited movies to the theater by our house. So
There you
Nice.
go.
a lot, and then restaurants, food, primarily. So
Yeah.
we got to start mixing it up and adding some of these venues you talked about. But my
Cool.
question to you: how often, like, do you guys do like dates one-on-one? And you mentioned you do them in groups too. But is there any secret sauce to that, or?
You guys have a routine of any sort?
I mean, we plan a date. We go out every week, and so when you're going out 4 to 5 times a month, it's easy to get 2 in, just the 2 of us, and 2 in with some friends, and so
We just, I mean, depending on the location, like whatever we're planning, if it feels like it's something that would be good with a group, then we just shoot out a text to people. I mean, sometimes we do just a double, and it's just one couple, and we try really hard to reach out to a lot of different couples that we're friends with. So we do things with a lot of different people. And then anytime it's group date time, I just shoot out texts to a bajillion people, and whoever wants to come gets to come. We just are all about like, let's do it. Let's make it happen. Everybody come have a good time. Doesn't matter if you don't know other people there. We bring people from all parts of our life. So yeah, we don't really have a specific, this is how many we do together or not. There are times that we feel like we haven't spent enough time, just the 2 of us. We start feeling that even though we're going out all the time, we're not necessarily connecting on the level that we're needing to connect on. And the date maybe isn't serving the purpose that we need in that moment. We're both just major social extroverts. We love being with groups of people. But it's good for us to sometimes take that step back and say, we just need some time, just the 2 of us. And sometimes in those moments as well, we do at-home dates. So even if we've gone out with a group of people, we then take some time to do intentional things at home together to have that connection piece.
Yeah, you mentioned even, at the top we were talking, this is your second time doing a podcast. The other one was about relationships and, building how did you say it? Like building a strong marriage, something like that?
Yeah, just strengthening your marriage.
And I think that getting together and doing those things is a great way to do that. It's to mix it up and have different ways to build that connection rather than the same old every day.
Absolutely.
And also scheduling it, like making it a priority, right?
Yes.
To do. I mean, both of you all, all of you all have young kids, but once they start getting older, it gets, schedules get really busy. So if you don't carve out the time, then it won't happen.
It absolutely doesn't happen. Like you have to make it a priority. You have to put it on your calendar, and it needs to stay on your calendar. I mean, people tell us all the time, well, we put it on the calendar, but something came up. And that just doesn't fly with us. We have a rule that date night doesn't get erased. So if we need to shift date night, we shift it. We just move it, but it does not get erased off the calendar. Because it's very easy for it to get erased. And then all of a sudden you haven't been on a date in a very long time because of how busy your schedules are.
And I imagine it's not just the Instagram that's like, okay, we have to do this because we have to post some content. It probably helps. Yeah, like you say, if you push it out, it's just going to become so much easier to say, we'll do it next time.
Yep.
Yeah, and we will end up pushing it, like, because we plan, it's on our calendar every Saturday, but realistically we don't go out on a date every Saturday. We'll push it to like a Thursday if things are like we've got chores to do that have been neglected and that kind of stuff, and so we shift it over to another empty night or something that way. And so sometimes if we don't go out over a weekend, we end up going out twice the next week on weeknights. Like we come home, we put the kids to bed, and we have a neighbor come hang out at our house, and we go out to dinner or we go out to do something small. I mean, we've got one planned. We're going and doing an archery night with some friends after work from 6 to 7 p.m. It's an hour long, and they're going to give us a little lesson on shooting. And then we get an hour to practice archery, which I've done it a few times, but
And I've never done it. I'm way excited.
Like, go and learn the basics and go shoot for a while. I mean, something new to do, and it doesn't take that long. So we have a babysitter for maybe an hour and a half. So, and on a weeknight, you can throw out a good time together and learn a new skill and stuff like that.
It's very doable. And I think people start stressing about these extravagant date nights, right? They have to, date night's so hard because you got all these things and it's got to be this big thing. And sometimes just going to dinner without your children is a dream come true. Like, it's just going to a restaurant without a toddler is amazing. And saying, hey, can we just, we'll make a reservation at the restaurant, if it's one that requires a reservation or whatever, and you get a babysitter for 1 hour, that is not a big deal. It doesn't have to be some crazy thing. It can just be 1 hour to go to dinner, just the two of you. You turn off your phones and you just spend 1 hour of uninterrupted time together. It doesn't have to be these crazy chocolate workshops and escape rooms. And, we love all those things. Those things are amazing.
Can't do that every week.
Yeah, but like, it doesn't have to be that. And if that's what's keeping you from doing date night, change that mindset. It can be the simplest of things. Date night is about connection, growing together, learning new things together, and just strengthening your relationship.
We've talked about a couple different places. Do you guys have any kind of a list, like a top 5 or anything that you would give to somebody that you think are great date nights or great places to go?
Yeah. I mean, really a lot of the ones we've mentioned are on that top 5. I'd
for sure do the chocolate, because who doesn't love like chocolate truffles and carameled apples and that kind of stuff? That's literally what they teach you how to make that, and you just get to do it you can sit at your own private table and you do it together and you make those, and then you go home and enjoy them.
That's our number one recommended date. When people ask us for ideas, I have recommended Just Add Chocolate more than any other date, probably. And that one's great, like just you and your spouse. Yep.
Another one that I love is going to like a Nickelcade.
Oh yeah.
And
it's an underrated date.
To play two-player video games, and then you can go do skee ball, or you can do the basketball, you can do Down the Clown, you can play the new modern stuff with like Sushi Ninjas and Pop the Locks. Whatever, they've got a variety of stuff, so most people can find something to do there. They charge you $2.25 to get in, and then whatever nickels you want to spend. So like, we can spend an hour there and spend $10 the whole time, and we have an hour of fun. Or
it's a blast.
Yeah.
Another one coming to mind is Board and Brush. It's a workshop where you go and make like household decorations. And I think oftentimes people see that as like a GNO, which it's great. It's great girls' night, but we did it together, and we did some Christmas decorations for our house and some other things. And you stain the wood yourself, you distress the wood. It's a really cool workshop to do together. And it's one that we would love to go back and do together again. It was really fun. And that's in Draper.
It's also something you'd actually put up in your house, because they have like stencils and stuff for all the designs. And so it looks like an
Yeah,
Etsy
it
shop.
looks high
It
quality.
looks
It's
like you
not
bought it
just-
off Etsy or Amazon or something like that. It doesn't look like you made it yourself. Those are some. And then my biggest recommendation, if you don't know what to do, literally just go on Groupon and say things near me, and you put a search
That's
radius.
smart.
And you can find so many things that are discounted. There's escape rooms, there's shows, there's like artists. I mean, I was on there a couple days ago, and there was a tribute to who is it? Pearl Jam. They're at USANA. They're doing a tribute to Pearl Jam at USANA, and it's like just this. It's like $20 to get in through Groupon, and you
we
go
find
for
a
those
lot of
kinds
fun things on Groupon. That's one of the ways we find our dates.
Mm-hmm.
A paint night. Doing a paint night. We've done a paint night together. There's quite a few locations. So depending on where you live, there's some really in every single county.
That was one of my wife and our first dates together was a paint night. Back when we used
Really?
to date. I know, I feel like a bad husband now. You guys are inspiring me though. That's the good thing, is you're inspiring me to want to go and do the date nights.
Where did you go for your paint night? Do you remember?
Yeah, it actually was at a bar that's not there anymore. It was there in Sandy off of I-15. What was it called?
Sandy Station.
Maybe, but it's just apartments
Okay.
now. So it was, I mean, it was
Yeah.
quite a few years ago, but yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, I mean, you wouldn't think going into this dingy bar and in the back they've got this whole paint night going on. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I suck at painting. I mean, it is like not my thing. Our painting was not really that great by any means. But it really was so fun to do
Yeah, it is fun.
together and just different. And so that's a date that we'll try again for sure. Oh my gosh, I remembered the last, I think this will probably be 5 because you asked for 5. The Creative Kiln. It's pottery,
Pottery
Oh, cool.
class.
a pottery class.
Like Ghost.
Ghost?
Yes.
Yes. It was
But not so intimate.
but not so.
Not quite like that.
Pottery
Not
really
so Patrick
isn't.
Swayze.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, well,
this is more like a nice
could do it
group
together though.
study,
Yeah.
really
I've never seen Ghost, so
Yeah. So great setting, fun environment. They've got, and they make it, the people teaching the class are so good at it.
so good.
You could screw the whole thing up and they could rebuild it in like 10 seconds for you. So they like,
Wow.
yeah, you spent half an hour molding and then you just like stuck your finger in the wrong spot and it all crumpled. They just like smash it down and then rebuild it to where you were. And then you
In
get to
like
keep-
a minute.
and
They're
then you
so
get to keep
good.
going. So it's not super pressure of like,
Forgiving place.
am I gonna get this? Because they make it so you get something decent out of it. But you can also like really have fun and learn how to do it. And
Yeah.
then-
That was a date that we both walked out of and we're like, we would go back. Like we want to go back soon. Like it was a lot of fun.
And I'm sure there's sometimes dates where you're like, we're never doing that again too.
there's a lot of,
Uh-huh.
not a lot, but there's some that we would.
Probably the biggest is like restaurants. We try new
Yeah, we try
restaurants
so many
constantly because we
restaurants.
want to share with people new restaurants. And we never share like
Sure.
negative, stuff on our page. Like if we don't like a restaurant, we just don't post about it. But sometimes, we strike out multiple weeks in a row, which is so frustrating when that happens. So that's probably like main ones. When it comes to activities, I wouldn't say that there's been any that it's like, I mean, sometimes one of us likes the date more than the other,
Right.
right? One of us might enjoy something more than the other, but I don't know if there's ever been an activity we've done that neither of us would want to do it again. But there's definitely restaurants out there that we would
Yeah.
never go to again.
We all have those.
that's what my wife and I, not the kind of the Groupon thing, we'll have like a discount book or something and try new restaurants that way. And you're right, every once in a while you're like, there's a reason they're in this coupon book.
There is a reason that they are trying to get people in there. Yeah,
But every
it's
once
a
in a while you
bummer.
find a gem though, right? So it's worth it.
Yeah.
We kind of joked about it, me and Nate going on dates, but because of the podcast, we've kind of done a lot of different things, going out of our comfort zone and finding new things. So you guys have given us things to do with our wives as well.
Well, we
as
can
together.
double up. It's a double up.
Oh yeah, we can do that too.
We can.
We could double up.
Well, I mean, it counts as a date.
Just
and
ask
the
your wives
podcast.
on a date, you guys.
I know.
Right when this podcast ends, when we hang up, you both need to ask your wives on a date.
So I asked
Or-
my wife or his wife, which one?
Yeah. You could ask your wives to go on a date while you guys hang out. And
We've done that before.
We have, yeah, we have done that a couple times. Like,
Yes.
hey, do you want to go this? Also, it's a podcast.
Yeah, so we get a date and we get an episode out of it, so it's a twofer.
Yes.
Nice.
There you go.
I'll go write my wife a note. Will you go on a date with me?
Yes.
That's how you do it, right?
By the way, Nate's coming too.
Yep.
Well, a two-part. One last thing I wanted to ask you guys. I'm just really interested, like, what goes into having and running a what I'd say is a successful page like you have. I can't imagine that's an easy task. Like, it probably takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. What goes into that?
A lot. Too much.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is why I told you were gonna manage this, and I was just
Yeah.
along for the ride.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't exist without her. Like,
Yeah.
she does 99% of it because working a full-time gig and having side gigs that I do on the side and all of that and life, but it's a lot.
So it's a lot of content planning. I mean, when I'm planning our dates, I plan the majority of our dates. Colin plans one date a month and I plan the rest of them. And that's just what really works for us right now. When I'm planning dates, I am thinking about content, right? I'm thinking, oh, well, we haven't shared a group date, for a few weeks. So we need to go on a group date to share it. Something that we really try on our page, we don't like sharing a lot of things if we haven't done it ourselves. That's just kind of how we started the page. We want people to really know that if they're coming to our page and seeing an idea, it's something that we really believe in, we stand behind, that it's something we would do, and do again. It's not just like, oh,
Here's a
try
sponsored
this.
post.
And it's not
Yeah.
like we would pay for it. Like, we're
Right.
not going
Yes.
to post it if we wouldn't, because some, like in this business and Instagram, you get given free stuff. If we're posting it, it's because we would pay for it, or we are paying for it. Like,
or
people
we
don't
already
realize,
have, right?
people don't realize that, like, most of the dates we go on, we pay for all of them, and we're like, we liked it and want to do more. And so,
Yeah. So, I mean, it takes a lot of planning like that. Our page has morphed, over the past few years. People are asking for more content with kids. And so I'm trying to share more of what I do. I'm a stay-at-home mom as of just a few months ago. I'm now full-time at home. I was working before that. And so sharing what I do at home with the kids all day, activities we go and do, crafts we do, things we like together. And so now I'm having to figure out how to film that, get video and pictures with a 3-year-old that doesn't cooperate super easily. And so I'm having to do a lot of background there. I'm learning how to edit pictures and videos a little bit better. It was looking back at the early days of our page. It is ugly. I've come a long way.
like,
with that.
you don't understand how many hours of picture and video editing go into a page. Like, you think but you don't. Like, every night it's how's this one look on it, and then she spends a lot. Then how's this one look? How's this one look? And I'm like, I can't even tell the difference between those, to be honest, at this point. And then organizing them all and keeping them grouped, and like, this is this type of date, and organization skills. Like, she's got all of those to keep it
Yeah.
all separated and being able to find them and revert back to them. But it's a lot. And so,
Well, the thing is, I mean, it's not all about how pretty it looks, but unfortunately it kind of is, right? Like, for people to want to watch your reel, it needs to look nice.
Right.
I could throw stuff out there so fast, unedited, like awesome information for people, and they just wouldn't care because they wouldn't watch it if it doesn't look nice. And that's a little bit frustrating, but that's the world that we live in. And so that's a lot of the behind the scenes. I spend a lot of time editing. I do a lot of, talking with companies, like talking with you guys. We've started doing some more like Instagram lives with people, getting Colin to learn dances to do with me for reels, because people love seeing Colin dance. And so
There it is.
yeah.
So there's a lot of behind the scenes. I look at reels, I see what's trending. I try and teach Colin something. It's just a lot behind the scenes. Yeah, just really busy. And we do have a website. So I post things on our website, on our blog. We are on TikTok as well. I go through phases of posting over there, but there's so much behind the scenes that people, I think they think it's like, oh, she just like posted something, but it takes so much time behind the scenes of everything I'm trying to do to make it happen and provide quality content for them. I don't want to just throw out some dumb date just to put it out there. So everything we do post is stuff that we really feel like it's going to help people, be fun for people, benefit people. We want people to love being on our page.
I've enjoyed seeing your stuff, and I think you guys put out great content. I guess the second part to my question was just where people can find that, find you guys and see what you're doing.
Yeah, at The Average Daters on Instagram. That's going to be our main place. I mean, from there you can, I've got our website linked in our bio there if you're wanting to look a little bit more on the website of things I share there. But yeah, Instagram's our main place. So head on over there.
Yep.
There's
a bunch of different stuff on the website, games, if you want, or into like games, there's suggestions for 2-player games and group games, and
yeah, we do a lot with
and
board game stuff. We share a lot of that. The website also has like dates by county, so you could click, like if you're in Davis County, you could click on my Davis County page and it's going to give you just a crap ton of dates to go on there. So I've got Davis, Salt Lake, and Utah counties on there with a bunch of dates that you could click on.
No love for the people in Heber, huh? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a huge market for dates up in Heber. Growing up there,
just the ice
but there's some good date stuff to do out there if you go out to Heber.
There are some great ones like the Crater and the Ice Castles, and Heber Hatchets started up there, and then you can always do the more ruggedy ones of hiking and shooting and four-wheeling and that kind of stuff.
The outdoorsy stuff.
You have to have access to all of that too. So,
well, very cool. Well, we really appreciate you guys again taking the time out of your busy lives with the kids and the Instagram that takes so much time. Thanks for talking with us and sharing some insights. I think we've learned a lot from this.
Yeah, it's been great.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
We love talking about it.
So after hearing all that, Nate, what are you going to do with your wife for the anniversary? What out-of-the-box idea are you going to pick? Put you on the spot here.
I think what I'm going to have to do is have my wife listen to this episode and see which idea she thinks is best.
I think if you don't have an idea right now, I love that Groupon idea. Go to Groupon, find something, and even if it's not going to be, I'm just giving you my advice here, Nate. Even if it's not going to be for your date night for your anniversary, you can get something for your wife that'll lead to a future date night, something you find on Groupon.
Yeah, and that kind of touches my my frugalness that I love to do. Number one, you get a Groupon, so you're saving money. 2, you get to try something different and new. And then 3, you get to hang out with your significant other or your spouse. The win-win-win for me.
Well, I'm just glad that I have until November to come up with one of these ideas before our next date, me and my wife. That's when our anniversary is, so I've got a while to plan.
That's cool. You don't have to go on a date till then.
No, but in all honesty, I did feel inspired by them to make more of a concerted effort, and I think that's one of my biggest takeaways from this was it's important to make that effort and try to keep the dating alive in your relationship.
Well, I mentioned to you the other day, this just popped in my head, and I brought it up to my wife, that I think it would be fun. And the reason why it came to mind, because my wife and I do go to dinner quite a bit, sometimes more than once a week. Maybe twice a week we go to dinner. But usually when you go on the weekends, you see a lot of kids out and about for their high school dance. So I think it'd be fun, and maybe this might be an idea for them to do on their Instagram or one of their date nights, is do an adult high school dance replica where you have to ask your spouse the Utah way, make them do a treasure hunt or something like that. They have to respond the Utah way. And then you have to buy, they still do that where you buy like matching outfits or shirts.
I think so.
Yeah. And then you have like a group that you go to dinner or do like a date activity. And then you go to probably have to borrow somebody's church and then have like a dance, with a DJ or whatever you want to do. And then you have like the nighttime activity where you go watch a movie or hang out at somebody's house and play ping pong, whatever it may be. But I think that'd be kind of fun to do.
I honestly love that idea.
Get a group of people together and make it happen. So, and then to make it even more awkward, you should take your significant or your spouse to your in-laws, and then you have to go pick them up from your in-laws.
And you do the whole boutonniere
The
corsage
whole
thing.
awkward moment of having to talk to the in-laws or the parents, and then go borrow your dad's car. Go on your date.
The more we talk about this, the more I think we need to make it happen.
All right, let's do it.
We're going to have to find a person to take pictures, get a whole backdrop, and you can do the awkward group photo plus
Yes.
the individual photo.
Yes. And we actually, my old ward, gosh, when my wife and I were kind of recently married, kind of like you, just young, careless kids. No worries in we didn't have kids yet. So you guys have kids.
I have
So a
many
little
worries.
bit younger than you guys, I guess. But the young women did a spaghetti dinner fundraiser, and they even brought in like a live band. Like one of the girls, the leader's dad was in the band, so the band came in and they did the whole picture shoot right in one of the rooms. So same thing, very easy to put together.
Adult prom.
Adult prom, you could call it that. But I kind of want to do one not necessarily like the formal. I would like to do one more like the spring fling, something that's not a formal, where you, like I said, I want the matching shirts. That's where I got the idea from. Like I want the corniness of, and you can do a prom one eventually, like maybe because we're getting close to prom season anyways, but something where every couple, each person's a couple because they're both wearing the same shirt, right? And I think it would just be hilarious to go to like Applebee's with a group of like 20 people that are like in their 30s and 40s, all dressed like high school dance. Yeah.
Have you seen that trend of women, like the ladies getting together and buying all their husbands the same shirt, and then they show up for dinner and all the men are wearing the same shirt?
No, that's
No?
awesome.
It's so funny. Well, folks, look for an announcement of our adult spring fling.
And if you want to be involved, let us know.
And if you have any suggestions of really great date ideas as well, we'd love to hear about them.
Absolutely. I just got to go shower for my date. So,
Okay, go get ready.
yeah, we're heading over to Old Navy to get our shirts.
Thanks for listening to This Is Blaze podcast.
See you next week.